Week number 5 in the National Football League featuring World of Matchups. Dexter Reed, Las Vegas, Nevada on the other side of the glass. My A1 from day one. Spencer the Wiz bringing the heat. Entire slate against the spread. Spencer, how are you?
I'm good. This is a good NFL Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. A couple of days off from work. What's better than a little bit of football?
There is nothing better than a full day of football. This is Christmas every week for guys like you and me. Let's get it popping. The London game, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They stay in London for the second straight week. You want to talk about getting hosed, bro. How does the NFL do that to a team, man? Come on. Bring these boys home already.
They're going to be the London Jaguars.
Come on, man. And I think that's what Roger Goodell wants, quite honestly.
I think you're right about that.
I'm telling you, they want to expand, and the Jaguars are going to be the test dummies. So they are there. The Bills are the home team flying in. The Bills are -5.5. I'm going to tell you, going in the door, I love the Bills here. I've just watched Jacksonville all season, man. I watched that full game versus the Chiefs. Trevor Lawrence just doesn't look right. They're starting off really, really slow. I thought we were going to get the Jaguars that played in the playoffs that came from 4 touchdowns down to beat the Chargers. I thought that was the Jacksonville Jaguars we were going to get. And I was really galvanized by Calvin Ridley's first game, and they really haven't done much since. 5.5 seems like a lot, but this is a Buffalo team that just steamrolled Miami when we both thought Miami would actually be in this game. And they're starting to hit their stride. Again, there's a tiny window left for the Buffalo Bills, and I think they're realizing that, and they're going to go for it here. So you culminate that simply with the fact that Jacksonville really hasn't been able to do much offensively, really, and there's no true home field advantage in London. I'm taking the Bills here minus the 5.5. I'm going to take them with confidence, too. I still think the Bills are a very strong AFC team that a lot of people are poo-pooing on. Me, I'm one of them because they just never win in a big spot. But this is the type of game on a neutral field where I just think Josh Allen goes bananas again. Stephon Diggs is unguardable. Yes, Jacksonville's got a nice little defense, but 2 weeks in London is too much to overcome. Bills minus a 5.5.
Yeah, this is an interesting game. The Jaguars really have been kind of disappointing, just kind of floating around, obviously, at 2-2. But I don't know. I don't know if I was expecting them to just take the league by storm this year. But there have been a little disappointing. I mean, the Texans game is a wash because there's just a curse, I guess, on them playing the Texans. It doesn't matter what season, who's playing. They just can't beat them. It's a very bizarre phenomenon. But yeah, when it comes to the Bills, man, that was a big win last week. And kind of feels like it's the same team that was fighting the Chiefs in the playoffs. That kind of urgency. They haven't had that since. And seeing it now, they're really just taking every week and just kind of attacking it head on. And yeah, this is probably their last year. Von Miller coming back, a lot of juice. You would hope that maybe, I don't think that they've played a London game, if I'm not mistaken, before. I could be dead wrong about that, but that could be something. That's definitely a factor. You play at a weird time. You never been out there before, but I don't know. I would be shocked if the Bills didn't go out there and play a really good game against the Jaguars, who just haven't had that definitive win just quite yet. They've just been pedestrian, and the Bills have been anything but pedestrian. These are the kind of weeks where you kind of set yourself up for a disappointment, but I'd be silly not to take the Bills here.
Yeah, I agree. We're not going to spend much more time on this. Buffalo's starting to hit their stride. Jacksonville could be in some trouble here. To the 10 o'clocks. New York Football Giants, they head to Miami to take on the Dolphins, who just signed Chase Claypool. Dolphins are minus 12.5. My God, the Giants are just absolutely disgusting. I mean, you want to talk about a team that overachieved last year and then paid Daniel Jones for what they thought he would do this year. Now, it's not all on him. The offensive line has been hot dog water all season long. They are absolutely atrocious. They are so disgustingly bad. It hurts my soul to even say I'm from New York. This is my dad's team. I just can't get behind anything that they're doing. They've just got a whole bunch of wide receivers. Saquon is 50-50 to even suit up. They take sacks like it's the thing to do. And it sucks because Dable's a good coach, but they just don't have the pieces. Darren Waller has been very mid at best. Guy's always hurt, and they're flying to Miami now to take on South Beach. I think they get murdered here. I really do. I think Miami is hitting their stride after losing a tough game in Buffalo. I think they come home and get right here, and I think they get right in a big way. I mean, the Giants secondary has no shot at containing Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle at all. And Miami can run the ball. I like this kid, Devon Arshan. I like this kid a lot. Young, hungry. He's smaller, but he can make some noise too. Mike McDaniel's becoming an offensive guru with the pieces that they have. What do the Giants offer in the way of anything? Evan Neal is complaining. They're getting ripped apart on social media. Where's Kayvon Thibodeau? Where is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, now it's 4 or 5 games now, bro. Like, you were supposed to be this amazing stud, Carl Banks type. You've done nothing. And so I say it every week. Don't be scared to lay points in the National Football League. Only a sucker is afraid. And I'm not going to be one of those people. The Giants have shown me nothing in the way of being even competitive to this point. They're lucky to have the one win that they have. I think they absolutely get murked here. 31-13 Miami final.
Yeah, and this will never happen, but a lot of this is perpetuated by New York media, where it's just all or nothing all the time, and it's just the worst way to run your franchises, You lose one time, and the world's falling apart. Suddenly guys are talking about flipping burgers and stuff, and, it's just one thing after the other with these guys, and there's just so much pressure put on New York teams for no reason, It's just crazy how they operate, and I just don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. So
Giants are a 5-win team.
I'm not afraid to take the Dolphins here either. The Dolphins, I think, that was a crazy game last week, and it just it just got away from them. You always expect them to score like 30 points, and they couldn't do it. But it's the Bills, and the Giants are not the Bills, that's for sure. The Bills have made everybody look bad other than week 1. They make you look pedestrian, and obviously the Dolphins are not. I might take an alternate point spread higher for the Dolphins in this one to get a little extra juice on it.
Yeah, they're going to roll. Giants offer nothing to anybody. And it's true what you're saying about the New York media. As a New Yorker, I've watched this happen across all major sports. Yankees, Mets, Knicks, Jets, Islanders, Rangers. Like, you don't just go there. You have to have a backbone. I mean, look what they're doing to Zach Wilson. That's for another time. Next. The Saints, who dat? They go to New England to take on the struggling Patriots. My goodness. I'm starting to really look at the Patriots and be like, Bill, if you don't hang it up here soon, bro, you are going to be tarnished. You're not going to go down in history the way you potentially could have if you retired when Brady left. And that's what I think maybe he should have done, because I'm not so sure that Brady didn't make him versus a lot of people saying he made Brady. I mean, Mac Jones stinks. Bailey Zappi should be the starting quarterback of that Patriot team. It's 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Their tight ends are their best players. Ramondre Stevenson, where is this guy? I mean, what are we doing with Zeke there? Zeke should be on the street. This is a bad, bad, bad team. Now they lose Christian Gonzalez and Matthew Judon, their 2 best defenders.
Literally their 2 best players.
Their 2 best defenders are both out indefinitely. I mean, they go back and they get J.C. Jackson. I mean, who wants a recycled piece? You couldn't wait to get rid of this guy, and now you bring him back. This is a team just filled with dissension. Bill looks lost. I'm going to take the Saints here on the road, even though I know the Saints are a different team on the road. I'm going to trust the Saints here just because their defense is better. I think this is a game that Mac Jones gets benched permanently. I'm done with Mac Jones. Okay, I was never a Mac Jones truther to begin with, and he looks horrendous. He looked like a JV quarterback out there versus Dallas, throwing picks, handing out turnovers to whoever would eat them. How are they going to score? Juju Smith-Schuster is a ghost. The best wide receiver is Kendrick Bourne. Who is that? I'm sorry. I cannot accept what is happening in New England right now. And quite frankly, I'm loving it. As a fellow AFC guy who has watched Tom Brady and this team just destroy everyone for years, this couldn't be happening to a better team. Saints, take that 1 point. and go to Sizzler.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, but I don't know, man. It's just Derek Carr is just notorious for big-time stinkers at a random week. You're like, oh,
Lamar's
come on, it's a good matchup, this and this. And then, Saints fans got their first taste of the Derek Carr experience last week, and I can't say that I was sad about it. I'll just put it like that. I mean, the guy, I know he's injured, but people are already saying he doesn't have any weapons. There's a new coaching staff. I mean, how many times have I had this conversation with you? It's already beginning. So
it's happening.
I mean, we knew this, though. I mean, Derek Carr is just not a world beater. He's due for 2 to 3 stinkers a season when you just would never in a million years expect it. But here we are. I mean, I don't know. Talking about Christian Gonzalez and Matthew Judon, that's probably enough to sway it the other way. And by the way, we talked about how much we love this draft class. I'm starting to see Devon Witherspoon had a huge pick 6, in that game. Christian Gonzalez has been one of the best corners in the league. I mean, we were pretty spot on for a lot of these guys, man. So it's cool to see that this draft class is really starting to develop. The wide receiver position definitely is the weakest, but all of those things come down to circumstance. But I just wanted to mention that it's funny to look back at our draft analysis, and we
crushed it. We crushed it.
Good draft.
Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead. I'll take the Saints here, but I could really see a Patriots good defensive game, and it's just a low scoring, which is every Patriots win nowadays. Those 13-10 wins seems like the only way that they could win. I don't think they've scored over 20 points at any point this season.
They're horrible. I'm sorry, man. I'm not
sorry.
I'm not accepting. And you know what? I revel in every loss the Patriots take. Next,
absolutely.
Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they head to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Somehow they're minus 4.5, and that somehow is Kenny Pickett's got a bone bruise. Matt Canada refuses to let go, and Mike Tomlin refuses to let him go. And they are continuing with the Rooney nonsense of, just letting the season play out before we do anything major, and it's going to cost them, I think, cost them a win here. I'm not really galvanized by anything this team has done yet. I mean, I know you beat the Raiders, but the Raiders are hot garbage. Their defense will keep them in this game. And yes, this is a division game. For some reason, I like the Ravens here, minus the 4.5. Kenny Pickett sucks, man. Najee Harris sucks, man. These guys stink. And you know why they stink? They stink because their offensive coordinator is living in the dark ages. Everything is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. There's zero creativity. I mean, you have George Pickens, who could be the number 1 receiver in the National Football League, just wasting away. There is not a player that is wasting away on their team besides Kyle Pitts more than George Pickens. And why? Because they just can't get him the ball. They just cannot get him the ball. So again, if this team doesn't have a pick 6 or some kind of defensive scoop and score, they don't win games, man. And so I'm taking Lamar to finally have a bigger type game here. The type of game that everyone is paid him to have, that he has not had yet. And I think this is it. I'm going to take them minus the 4.5. I'm not taking them with confidence, but I am taking them simply because Pittsburgh sucks. They stink, man. And I could easily see a world where Mitch Trubisky enters this game, coughs it up. Ravens defense is always solid. They can run the ball fairly well. Lamar is going to be the difference maker here. I mean, I know they have Watt. I know they have Fitzpatrick. But this team is the type of team that loses easy games at home and wins hard games on the road. And so I'm going to take the Ravens minus the 4.5, and I'm going to pull and pray.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go on the other side of this one. I mean, when it comes to offensive coordinators, it feels like it's Tweedledee versus Tweedledum. It's just
both horrible.
I don't know. They just don't put guys in the right positions. It's all these 3 yards out. Like Zay Flowers, I feel like hasn't ran a 10-yard route once this season. It just seems silly. Odell might be back, but I don't know, man. That guy is who he is at this point. I don't think either of these teams, I don't know, these division games, when the Steelers should lose, it just feels like one of those games in the AFC North that the other team wins out of desperation, and a little bit has to do with the rivalry, of course. The AFC North always produces the best division games in the NFL, in my opinion. So I'm not going to say it confidently, but I'm going to take the Steelers plus the points here, at home.
Normally, home dogs pay dividends with me, man. You know this, but after I told you Houston was going to train wreck them, and that's exactly what happened. They're just not good, bro.
I don't think the Ravens are that good either, though, is the problem. They look so stagnant every week. I mean, both of these teams do. This is going to be a very stale game. It'll be very physical, but I'll take the plus points at home.
This game kind of reminds me of Justin Fields and how everybody was talking about him and how we were saying that they're trying to make him something he's not. They're trying to make him this pocket passer, and he's not that. And all of a sudden, they let him scramble around a little bit. They let him throw a little bit on the run, and look what happened. Eventually, they're going to have to do this with Lamar. I think this is the week that it happens. Next, Carolina Panthers. They head to Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions. The Lions are minus 9.5. That just goes to show you how pathetic the Carolina Panthers are. They are a dumpster fire. Okay, they are horrible. The Lions are going to probably be without Amon-Ra St. Brown. Abdomen issues. 9.5 is a lot, man. But Bryce Young coming off a week off with the ankle injury. One of the worst offensive lines in all of football. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to take the Panthers plus the 9.5. Don't ask me why. I like the Lions a lot. I like their coach a lot. I like the Lions at home a lot. But if Amon-Ra St. Brown is on the other side of doubtful, that is a couple points swing right there. Can the Panthers really be this bad? I mean, Miles Sanders is okay. At some point, you have to run some 12 and 13 personnel to protect your franchise quarterback. Maybe it happens this week. Maybe they score first and are able to hold on. 9.5 in this kind of a game indoors with no elements. I think that the Panthers can find a way to get Adam Thielen involved, DJ Chark involved, fluke touchdown. Things happen in the National Football League. Every time I bet the Lions at home to cover, even like a 4-point spread, what happens? Seattle goes in there and they win the game outright. It's just they're not there yet. They're there, but they're not there yet. And I know they beat the Chiefs, but the Chiefs beat themselves. We have to understand this. If the Chiefs catch one of those passes opening night, they win that game. So I'm not really ready to give them that upper echelon of, yes, we're going to blow teams out at home yet, because they don't. They don't. The Lions are a good team, but without their best weapon on offense, they're going to have to grind it out. They're going to stack the box against David Montgomery, who should still eat. Get Jahmyr Gibbs involved a little bit more, yes, but I see more of a 7-point win than a 9.5-point win. Bryce Young, can you please do something? It's like I'm poking you with a stick, bro. Do something. I told everyone that would listen that C.J. Stroud should have went first, and now you guys are all seeing it. I want my flowers. I want my flowers. I told you guys. Stop acting like I didn't say it. But I'm going to go with you here. Give me the 9.5 on the road versus the Lions.
I'm going to agree with you on this one. If Amon-Ra St. Brown is out, it's not great behind him. They don't have Jamison Williams gets back, but this guy's been
played in years.
Yeah, he has barely played in his NFL career, so I'm not going to go out and say that this guy's going to be ready to suddenly blow up on the scene. That's how good Amon-Ra St. Brown is, by the way.
Stud.
And even though Carolina is 0-4, their defense has performed well in multiple different
Their
spots.
Secondary is good, man. J.C. Horner's good. They're good. They have good secondary.
And they have one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. They have a lot of pieces. They're not that far off. And I know, people only care about wins and losses, but we're talking about a 9.5-point spread here. I like this spot a little bit. Carolina's healthier than the Lions a little bit here, and Bryce Young is due for at least one good game. And if there's ever going to be a player who has a good game against a franchise, it just seems like the Lions are one of those teams. Mm-hmm. No, it'd be crazy if they won this game. I wouldn't go as crazy as money line or something like that, but yeah, 10 points seems like a lot. But maybe I'm wrong. The Lions just blow out the Packers, but the Packers kind of look very pedestrian too. So we'll see. And also, it's a division game. Those are always weird. I don't like to judge teams on division games because that's just when the wackiest stuff starts to happen. You know what I mean? So give me Carolina plus 9.5.
Anytime I bet the Lions with a big spread, they screw me.
Yeah.
Anytime. I can't remember the last time I hit one of those with a big spread over 8 or 9. Next. I'm starting to really like the Houston Texans here, guys.
I know.
I'm watching
Nico
this
Collins,
with a level of interest that I haven't watched another team besides my own in quite some time. And I like what D'Amico Ryans is doing there. Like we were just talking about, I really like what C.J. Stroud is doing. They are bringing pride back to the Houston Texans franchise. And I think it continues here. They play the Falcons. Falcons somehow are favored by 1.5. How? I mean, Bijan Robinson, there's your 1.5. Okay. I'm here to tell you going in the door, I love Houston here. I think Nico Collins, who you just mentioned, is a very slept-on wide receiver, probably the most underrated wide receiver in the whole National Football League. And they have something going there with C.J. Stroud, who honestly hasn't even taken off with his legs yet. 6'3", 6'4", 2 something. I mean, this guy is a physical specimen, and he wants to win. They still have good running backs. They're not great, but they're good. Dalton Schultz has done absolutely nothing yet. If they actually ever get him involved, there's some points right there. I don't trust Desmond Ridder anywhere. Desmond Ridder stinks. There's a couple guys in the National Football League who just stink. Mac Jones, Desmond Ridder. I have no faith in this guy. This team has not been able to get Kyle Pitts involved at all. So if you can hold down Algier and Bijan Robinson, you can beat this team. I don't trust them at all anywhere. Atlanta, to me, they're a turnover waiting to happen if that's going to be your starting quarterback, and you have an ascending, young, hungry Houston team who I'm telling you right now, whatever the over for their wins was this year, they're going to smash that. I love them here plus the 1.5. Atlanta doesn't galvanize me anywhere. I know they have a good secondary. I know this. But if they're down in this game 10-0, the game is over.
Yeah, the most deserving free agent coaches going into last season were D'Amico Ryans and Eric Bieniemy. So D'Amico Ryans 100,000% deserved this job. And I think Eric Bieniemy is next, but you're seeing what happened. I mean, this guy is such a good coach, dude. He coached some of the best defenses ever. Everyone loves the guy. Those are the two things I feel like you need for a good head coach. You can get a good offensive coordinator if you don't understand the offensive side of the ball. I think that's overrated. You can give the offensive calling to somebody, especially if you have a really great mind for it. I mean, Josh McDaniels was the offensive coordinator for the Patriots for a very long time, and it worked out great. So I think they're putting themselves in a really great position to see them progress, this far just in one season. I mean, the Texans were equally just one of the worst teams in the NFL year in and year out. They haven't played this well in a season since Deshaun Watson was there. I mean,
C.J. Stroud effect.
It's been that long. So they've just made a lot of really good moves. I feel like they're in a very similar situation to the Bears. I just think that the Texans played it so much better. From start to finish. They didn't go out and get 1,000 different free agents. They got a few, and they're just making impacts. Here in year one. You didn't build the whole team over again. They just brought in some D'Amico Ryans guys, and you're seeing the effect here. They blew out. I mean, Pittsburgh stinks, so it is what it is. The Texans aren't going to probably win any Sunday night football games against the Chiefs anytime soon, but these middling teams, they're taking it to them, and that's pretty cool to see. I love the Falcons if they would just start Taylor Heineke. How much different of an outlook do you have? I know Taylor Heineke's not a world beater, but the guy's won some football games. He's not
He's
terrible.
Better than Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, I mean, he's better than Zach Wilson. You know what I'm saying? This guy could start on a few teams in the NFL. And I can't imagine that door is not knocking a little bit, man. This Falcons team is just so close. I feel like they're pushing it over the edge and winning some games. Got no
quarterback, man.
I know they're 2-2, but I think they'd be 3-1 if they had Taylor Heineke on their team. So I'm hoping that happens mainly for my fantasy team because I have Kyle Pitts and I know Taylor Heineke would go to him probably a little bit more. So we'll see what ends up happening. Bijan Robinson's incredible. The guy is just unbelievable in his way to turn and just twist on a dime. So, I mean, I think the Texans are just a more competent football team. And I could just see it starting to fall apart for the Falcons. Everyone's starting to get mad at this kid, in Atlanta. He tried to dap up Matt Collins, and he looked like he was going to square up with them. I mean,
I saw that too.
Yeah, blood is starting to boil in Atlanta.
That stuff matters, man. You know what I mean?
Does.
I think Houston plus 1.5 here is an
100%.
Absolute lock. I mean, Devin Singletary, Dalton Schultz. You know what I mean? Damian Pierce, they don't have world beaters, but they've surrounded C.J. Stroud with talent. They've tried. They've tried. Laramie Tunsil, you see what I mean? They're trying.
That was how C.J. Stroud played in college anyways. He had great wide receivers, but he spread the ball. I mean, each of these guys, you look back at that team, he doesn't just go we need to get to my guy. He gets the ball to all of his talented players.
And it's team wins when they win. I really liked them a lot this week. Next, let's roll. Touchdown Titans. They fly to Indianapolis. They're -2.5 to take on the Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor led Indianapolis Colts. Off the pup, I just got the notification. He is active. No restrictions on that ankle. Yes, he is disgruntled. But JT, my boy, if you want to make money, you have to play. If you want someone to take you off Indianapolis's hands, you have to play. And so I'm expecting a very, very fresh and galvanized Jonathan Taylor here. I think he is going to wreck tomorrow. I know that the Titans have a good front four, but I think I'm done with the Titans, man. I just can't pick them right, and so to just stay away from them is just the best thing to do. You know, I know these type of games are closer between these two. I mean, it's not Edgerrin James versus Eddie George, but it's still the kind of close game that you would expect when these two teams get together. I do think that Ryan Tannehill is a stiff, one of the worst quarterbacks in the entire league. I think that when you look at DeAndre Hopkins and him stealing money, everyone goes to Tennessee and steals money. Julio Jones, that's where great wide receivers go to die. And so I'm taking the Colts as home dogs here. Anthony Richardson is a lock. Anytime touchdown, put your whole mortgage on it because it's happening. The kid's mom and whole family will be there. They have been coming off some tough losses, and now they get a running game going with JT. I don't see how the Colts lose this game at all. My lock of the week.
Really?
Indianapolis Colts. I don't
know
trust
if I call
Tennessee.
it my lock,
I don't trust Tennessee anywhere. They stink. They stink. That their defense is so much better than people give them credit for in Indianapolis.
Oh,
they
great.
stink. The Titans stink.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they played a really bad Bengals team right now. The Bengals season is derailing really quickly.
Oh, the Bengals stink.
I don't know. This is a tough game. I do think JT probably do so hard as a running back just to get right back into it. And I just don't feel like this guy was working really hard in the offseason. It's just not the impression that I got from him. He's been on the injury list this whole time. This is a rough one. I'm going to go with the Titans, but I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Colts were to win this game. You know, it's Anthony Richardson's first taste of a real big, division rivalry. I feel like this is a game that each of these teams circle on the calendar every year. It may not be like widespread appeal necessarily, but I know these two teams get excited, and I don't know. I could also see Ryan Tannehill just losing the game for them straight up. So
he's worse than Derek Carr.
This is a coin flip. I'm going to stay away from this game on any of my tickets, but just thinking about it, I guess I'll take the Titans, but I do it with no confidence at all.
I'm done with the Titans. Touchdown is over here. World of matchups is rolling here. Best bet, Indianapolis Colts. Home dogs, A-Rich, 2 touchdowns. Lock it in. Next, I'm loving watching the Bengals lose. Them, Denver, New England, sign me up, baby. That's as good as a Chief W where I'm from. Bengals fly to Arizona Cardinals at State Farm Stadium in that lousy field to take on the Joshua Dobbs-led Arizona Cardinals, who I'm telling you, go in the door, get them home dogs getting 3 points. I'm going to take that 3 points. Joe Burrow's calf is falling off any day now. T. Higgins is on the other side of doubtful with a broken rib. Mixon has just been very average at best. And if you can just hold Jamar down, all you got to do is hold him down. He's going to get his, but you just got to hold him down. I can see them winning this game outright. If the Arizona Cardinals can beat the Cowboys, they can beat the Bengals. It's just that simple. The Bengals defense has had one good showing all season long. I'm not a big Orlando Brown Jr. signing guy. I don't think that has mattered at all. I think they are playing with fire, having Joe Burrow out there, not 100% with a calf injury, because you have to throw off that back leg, versus getting him healthy and then bringing him back for the stretch run. I get what they're trying to do, but one bad hit and your quarterback is out for the year. And now you'll have a social studies teacher as your starting quarterback, and your season will be over. Because without a good quarterback, those weapons, they can't do anything. And one of those weapons is heavily banged up. If T. Higgins goes, it won't even matter. T. Higgins has done nothing healthy. Nothing healthy. Why would anyone in their right mind take the Bengals here? Knowing what you know, They've beaten one decent team all season long. They're horrible. They're terrible. Their defense is deplorable. They had one good showing all year, and I'm telling you, this is what you call in the NFL a classic trap game. Classic trap game. James Conner is better than people think. The emergence of Michael Wilson is going to be very good for this team. Zach Ertz is still Zach Ertz. I know he's old man Zach Ertz, but he's got hands of gold. I love the Arizona Cardinals here, plus the 3. Take them all day, every day, twice on Sunday, and it's steak and lobster.
Yeah, man. I feel like this is a trap game, but not in the way that you think. I think it's going to be a trap for the sports books, because everybody's going to see the Arizona Cardinals. They took out the Cowboys, and everyone's like, okay, well, if they can just perform like that against the Bengals, they'll go at this injured Bengals team. They're going to go ahead and dominate them at home. I'm going to go against it. I'm going to say that this is a trap game for everybody who thinks that the Cardinals are going to easily cover this line. I'm going to say the Bengals have their best game of the season. The Cardinals have no interest in really winning that many games this year. And especially if the Bengals lose this game, I think they're just going to shut it down for the season. They're going to put him on IR. They win, and he keeps going. So I think there's an ounce of desperation. And we've seen that under desperation, Joe Burrow can perform no matter the circumstances. I think that's what you're going to see here. I think they're going to put it together on some level enough to beat a Cardinals team who's half committed. They don't even really know what's going on in the franchise. They've played hard, but I feel like that early season energy is going to start to dissipate when you go a bit closer to 1-4 and 1-5. Guys just start getting sick of each other naturally because they're losing it so much. It's early in the season, so guys can say, oh, we're only in a 1-3 hole. We can start winning some games. We played well. I just think I'm waiting for the floodgates to open for the Cardinals before it starts looking real bad. And I think it could start this week, or at least that's my bold prediction.
Yeah, I like it. I don't see it happening. I think the Cardinals are better than people think. I don't see the Cardinals tanking at all. I think they were one catch away from covering last week versus the potential next Super Bowl champion 49ers team. I just don't believe in the Cincinnati Bengals this year. You're starting to see the real Bengals, who are literally, if they are not 100,000% healthy, they're not a Super Bowl caliber contending team. Next, another classic trap game. Eagles fly across the entire country to take on the Los Angeles Rams, who are getting Cooper Kupp back. Coach McVay says Cooper Kupp has zero limitations on that hammy. He is going to play. Now they've got Kupp. They've got Puka Nacua. I really like their young running back, Kyron Williams, and they still have Aaron Donald. They're going to play hard in their building. This is another team that I thought was going to stink this year. The Rams have played hard all year long. They have played very hard. Now, yes, the Eagles play very hard as well, but I told you last week with my chest and anyone that wanted to listen that them giving Washington 9 points was a mistake, and that's exactly what happened. Washington backdoored that cover with no problem. That's a game that Washington should have won. And for that reason and that reason only, now you're flying across the country, you're 4-0, you're feeling good. I'm telling you right now, the Rams are better than you think, and I think they cover that 4 here. I think folks, I'm saying this with my chest. The Rams win this game. Okay, the Rams win this game. I don't know how, but they're going to win this game. The Rams have pieces. All you have to do is play a little bit better on that offensive line and keep Matthew Stafford upright. If you do that, I'm telling you, these wide receivers are going to eat. That secondary is good, but it is not fantastic. Slay is older. They're beatable. The Philadelphia Eagles are beatable. Even Eagle fans, I know, are like, man, this is kind of one of those games a little concerned about. I'm telling you. Trust me when I tell you on this, folks. The Rams are going to play very hard in their building. Eagles travel, but they don't travel like that. It's a long flight all the way to L.A. There's going to be Rams fans there, and they're going to be fired up. Kyron Williams out of the backfield, up the gut. I know that front four in Philly is stout, but they're going to stick with the run, which is going to open everything up. And welcome back, Cooper Kupp. 2 touchdowns. Write it down. Rams +4. Home dogs pay dividends. I have spoken.
Yeah, this is a hot take that we agree on. And I actually really like the Rams this week. I haven't seen anything that's inspired me from the Eagles this year. Maybe this
should have lost that game to Washington.
It's a lot of traveling. The Rams have, I think this is more of like not so much downplaying the Eagles and more like up, or like promoting the Rams here. It's so easy to forget that Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the NFL. This guy's an incredible offensive mind. Took a rookie, Puka Nacua, has turned him into like Jerry Rice too. I mean, it's unreal what this guy is doing right now. It's winning me fantasy leagues. Kyron Williams too. I mean, they're doing a lot right now. They're pulling it together, and I feel confident that Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are going to find ways to eat. I just think this guy is able to scheme them, these kind of receivers open. If you're really good at running routes, Sean McVay will put you in a position to catch a football. It just seems, pretty consistent across the board here. So we'll see. The Rams at home, obviously, I think makes a big difference. Not that the Rams are a huge home team, but home field advantage for Philly means a lot. So the fact that they're not there, I think, does play a factor. I love the Rams. I'm going to take the money line, at least maybe just on its own, just because he's get some decent points there. Let's go Rams.
I like Higbee to be an X factor in this game, too. Eagles don't cover tight ends well at all. Next. Jets, Jets. I got to tell you, going in the door, man, Jets at the Broncos. Jets showed me something on Sunday night, man. The Chiefs were lucky to win that game. That game had me pulling my hair out. I'm telling you. The Chiefs, I'm going to go on record as saying right now, before we even get into this game, I'm not a big fan of these late flags that come in that a lot of these teams are getting if you're not throwing the flags all game long. So if there's contact, I get it. If it's the right call, I get it. But if you're not throwing those flags all game long and then all of a sudden you throw the flag to give another team an advantage, I'll take them because I've been on the other end of those flags for decades. So I will take them now. But I'm not a supporter of that. I wasn't a supporter of it in the Super Bowl. I wasn't a supporter of it Sunday night. Make the right call, yes, but be consistent. Don't make it look like you're favoring a team. That being said, the Jets should have won that game. But the Chiefs escaped because that's what they do. They have championship pedigree. The Jets played the game of their lives and came up short. For that reason, I think that translates into a road win here at Denver, who is minus 2.5 somehow, some way. I think Denver stinks. I think they're the most overrated team in the National Football League. I know coaching matters. Sean Payton has done nothing to instill fear in me forever. And then they turn around and they have to play Kansas City on a short week Thursday night. I think they're going to sleep on the Jets here. Coach Saleh has says we are going to unleash Breece Hall. There's no more limitations on Breece Hall. And there shouldn't be. I know the ACL injury, but he's looked good so far. Dalvin Cook is an afterthought. Give this young buck the ball 20 times and everyone else get out of the way. If Zach Wilson can play anything to the level he played like Sunday night, the Jets can go to the playoffs. Yes, I said it. Not only did I say it, I said it with my chest. So I like the Jets here. I like them plus the 2.5, and I think the Denver Broncos are absolute frauds, and if you bet them here, you're a sucker. That Jet defense is stout, and they lock down Kansas City's wide receivers. Lock down. What do you think they're going to do to Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, and Cortland Sutton, who have been very mid to this point? Sauce Gardner is an elite secondary talent. How I love the Jets here. I don't know why, man. I think they roll. I think they win this game going away. Forget the points. I think they win it going away.
Denver has not looked good at one point this season.
At all.
I mean, a random comeback. I mean, it's about all you've gotten from them. And I do think the Jets defense is just super legit. And they have, I think last week put a lot of juice back into them. Like I said, when you get close to like 1-3 and 1-4, that's when like, even if you're a good team, it just starts to fall apart because just naturally guys just feel like, what's the point anymore? But, even though they lost last week, it was normally when Zach Wilson had lost, he would like blame it on everyone else. And then you could see on the sidelines how bummed he was. So he's like maturing a little bit, which is good. And I think that's just enough, man. These guys, these grown men playing football, they're like divas. And it's like a lot of high school drama. I don't really know how to explain it, but that kind of stuff is enough for some of them to motivate them to keep going. And they obviously just have an extreme amount of talent on defense. And, if they play like they did against the Chiefs, then the Broncos have absolutely no chance in the world. Russell Wilson stinks. I mean, they're just not a good football team. The Jets are a much better football team than the Denver Broncos. So that's why I'm going to take the Jets.
Yep, I like the Jets. We are in agreement. Next, My team, this is a game I really wanted to go to, but I can go into a game later in the year. Chiefs, they head to Minnesota to take on the Purple People Leaders. Chiefs have not looked good really at any point this year except when they played the Bears. And Minnesota has just been awful. They've just been a turnover machine all year long. This is a very interesting game. I like the over in this game. I do think the Chiefs defense is emerging, but there's a lot of things that have to happen for them to hold down this Minnesota offense. You're going to have to see Nick Bolton get back. You're going to have to see Jalen Watson get back. I'm not so sure if those guys are going to play, albeit they practiced in limited fashion this week. The Chiefs are a very interesting team because they're for the first time really trying to figure this out in season. This stuff should have been handled already. Now they're trying to figure it out. They got no one that can go over the middle. They miss Juju in the worst way. Free Justin Ross. This guy's the best wide receiver in your entire team, and you don't play this guy at all. And it shows. Patrick Mahomes had no one to throw to. If they double Kelsey, where's that ball going? Does any Chief fan have any faith right now in Sky Moore, Rashee Rice, MVS? They're just a bunch of guys. And Patrick Mahomes has proven he can do it by himself, but it's going to catch up to this team eventually. All the creativity, it matters none if you don't have the playmakers and the skill guys to get it done. I like the Vikings here, plus the points. I do think Kansas City wins this game. You know, the Mayor's taking shots at Travis Kelce, but I'm not a big fan of the whole Taylor Swift distraction stuff. I don't see the Chiefs as a team right now that are really trying to run this back. The focus, where's the focus? Like literally, you are trying to run it back after you got blown out trying to run it back the first time. You are on the cusp of having people call you a dynasty. And we have podcasts going on, and we have celebrities in the stadium, and we don't have a number one wide receiver. And 4th and 1, we're running flea flickers and end arounds. This is the type of stuff that kind of raises a lot of question marks in my mind. Now, look, I'm just a fan, but I watch every snap of this team every single year from start to finish, and I'm not really loving what I see right now. Will this be a get-right game for them? This is a road game versus Jay Jettas, TJ Hawkinson, Alexander Madison. These are weapons, man. This is not the Bears. This is a team that is hungry and desperate and know that their backs are against the wall. And what I've always said is hurt fighters are dangerous fighters. If you catch a guy and he's on the ropes, you better be careful, man, because if he throws an uppercut, you might get clipped. And I'm a little scared here walking into this stadium with these crazy fans. They got good home field. They got good fans. And if Kirk Cousins is not turning the ball over, the Chiefs could lose this game. They could lose this game. So I'm taking the Vikings plus the points. I do think that the Chiefs find a way to be better simply because Patrick Mahomes knows he can't play the way he played last week and win. They got lucky last week. He won the game with his legs and the refs. And if they do that again, they're going to get clipped here. The Chiefs have not looked good to me. I'm hopeful. And when I'm hopeful, you take the home dogs plus the points. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not a Chiefs homer. All you Chiefs homers, fall back and stay away from me. I'm a realist first, and I'm an NFL fan first. The Kansas City Chiefs, if they do not win this game, are in trouble.
Yeah, you know who the Chiefs I think are missing the most? Eric Bieniemy. I mean, I think this guy is really underrated. I look at that Commanders game and I just see a few throws that are the difference between the Commanders winning and losing.
Fact.
And when Eric Bieniemy has Patrick Mahomes, the guy can make any throw. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if that's the whole conversation for another time with the Commanders. But obviously, even this year, you can see that Eric Bieniemy is a genius offensive mastermind. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
Should be a head coach.
Yeah, he should be a head coach. I think he will be next year. I do. What I really think is going to happen, what I said last year, is that Ron Rivera is going to step down at the end of the season, and then comes Eric Bieniemy. I'm pretty sure. But in any case, yeah, I think that they're really struggling. First of all, the Chiefs don't have a lot of offensive weapons. I remember when we did the grading, I gave their wide receiver core a very low grade, and I think it's for good reason. You're seeing it. I mean, they just don't really have any. They have some sort of names that people know, but that's not worth anything in the NFL.
None of these guys can get separation. If you can't get separation, where's the ball going? You saw it. You saw
Travis
Sunday night.
Kelce is like more of a celebrity at this point than he is an NFL tight end. I feel
I don't know. It's a real problem. It's a real problem. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but this is a major distraction right now for a team that just won a Super Bowl. You have question marks all over the field. Knock this nonsense off and get back to X's and O's and play football, or you're going to go out in the first round. I promise you. I've seen this before.
Yeah, with that being said, I will take the Chiefs here. I just think that the Vikings have just such an awful defense, and it kills them every week. A couple of turnovers here. The Vikings can score, but, so can the Chiefs, under the right
circumstances. Take the over.
Yeah, that's what I'm ultimately going to say is, we are picking teams, so I'll take the Chiefs, but I think the real winner in this game is the over.
52.5. That's a lot, but I could definitely see 31-30 final. I mean, the Chiefs' defense has been good, but Justin Jefferson, man, Jesus. Justin Jefferson is an absolute monster, and TJ Hawkinson had 2 balls last week. You think that's happening again? Stop it. Next, Sunday Night Football, game of the week. Dallas goes to the San Francisco 49ers to take on a very, very good Niner ball club who is undefeated, and I think will be undefeated after this game still. They're minus 3.5. This is a tough game to pick. Very tough game to pick. If I'm picking this game, I'm taking the under. It's 44.5. I think there's going to be a lot of defense in this game. I just don't trust Dak Prescott. I just don't, man. I'd feel a lot better about Dallas if they would have annihilated the Arizona Cardinals the way they did. But I watched a lot of that game, and I saw a lot of things I did not like in this game. I think Tony Pollard is small. I think the guys behind him are equally as small and not gifted athletes. If they double CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson's your only guy. On the road, I don't know, man. I like Bang Bang Niner Gang here, and I think that CMC is probably a league winner in all fantasy leagues, and he's on his way to being an MVP, even though it is a quarterback-driven award. The guy is unstoppable. They have easily the best run game and the best run schemes in the entire National Football League, and it's not even close. In space, he can catch, up the middle, left, right, slants. If this guy gets a linebacker on him, it's a touchdown. He is literally the most important person in the National Football League right now, next to Patrick Mahomes, and it's close. I love the Niners here going away. I see a 6 to 7 point win. I just don't trust Dallas enough because their offensive weapons are led by Dak Prescott. And when I need Dak Prescott, I don't get Dak Prescott. They win games, but they don't win games because of Dak. And this is the type of game where you're going to say, Dakota, go get it. We need you to go get it. We're down by 4 points. You've got the ball on the opponent's 30 with 18 seconds left on the clock. This is the play, son. Go get it. I've never seen him go get it. And I literally think the biggest problem with the Dallas Cowboys is Dak Prescott. He's the biggest problem.
Yeah, well, you say he's Black Derek Carr, and I think every week just proves
it.
This guy gets it within the 20-yard line, in the red zone. He's just so bad. He's like one of the worst red zone quarterbacks other than Derek Carr that I've ever seen. Yeah, he's
so bad. And so for that reason and that reason only, I think Sunday Night Football will be entertaining. I think Dallas's defense will be able to keep them in it. But Christian McCaffrey's the X factor, and until I see someone stop this guy, I'm taking the Niners. The Niners will not go undefeated, but they're only going to lose a game or two, and it's not going to be this one.
Yeah, no, I you know what? I'm also going to take the 49ers here. I'm less than 100% Micah Parsons. I feel like also is able to put this over the top. I know the guy's insane, Micah Parsons. He's just nuts, his motor. He's kind of just like a lunatic who plays for the Dallas Cowboys. It's kind of the best way to describe it. It's like the Dallas defense and then this crazy guy, Micah Parsons. It will be a defensive battle, but yeah, I think that I think that Christian McCaffrey is just. I remember when this trade went down, I said how underrated it was because you give the best running back in the league to the best run, offensive coordinator like ever, like one of the best to ever.
This is worse than letting Jalen Carter go to the Eagles. It's worse.
Yeah.
It's worse.
Insane. So
it's insanity.
This guy's making an MVP run, which you just never see out of a running back. But right now, he's legitimately in it. I don't think that you can deny that. It's a long season. We're really, we're only in
he's an MVP right now.
He's in the top 3 at least for MVP.
He's the MVP right now.
I tend to agree with you. I think that's enough. Like you said, I just don't trust Dak Prescott. He's never like gone up. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't really explain. Like he's here, but you need him to be.
He doesn't get better.
He doesn't even seem that far. Like you just need him to be a little bit better, and he never does. He just never gets there.
When you absolutely need Dak Prescott, he is Casper the Friendly Ghost. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, dude. And y'all keep sleeping on CMC. I'm telling you, man, this kid is White Marshall Faulk. That's your MVP right now, unless someone starts waking up. Who else could it be? Who else? I don't want to hear about Justin Herbert, and I don't want to hear about these other guys. They're not doing what this guy's doing. This guy's 3 touchdowns every single week, 5 to 10 catches every single week. He doesn't even have a dirty jersey at the end of the game. Stop it. Next, Monday Night Football, your favorite. Jesus, how they give this team a Monday night game. I'm so upset with the freaking Raiders. Packers fly into the Raiders. Just Packer fans everywhere here in Las Vegas and their stupid cheesehead nonsense. Raiders somehow are minus 2.5 for this game. I think that's an absolute disgrace personally, and I know you have a lot to say about it, but first I'm going to just let you know going in the door. I can't trust the Raiders here. I can't trust the Raiders anywhere. Last time I took them at home under the lights versus Steelers, they stunk up all of Las Vegas, and the smell still hasn't left yet. I'm taking the Packers here plus 2.5. I've been saying it all year long. I think Jordan Love is better than everyone thinks. Christian Watson will be back. They're going to have their starting running backs 100% healthy, I believe. And so if Aaron Jones is now back, you can pound the ball with A.J. Dillon, who hasn't been great because Chandler Jones is in a mental ward. You just run away from Max Crosby. Literally, like wherever the guy is, just go the other way because there's no one else on the other side. I saw Tyree Wilson get put on his ass by a wide receiver. This team stinks. Devontae Adams has got the shoulder injury. Even if he's healthy, I don't trust Jimmy G coming off a concussion. The Raiders are the walking wounded, and they're a laughing stock of the NFL. They came back, and they were in the game last week, and I thought they were going to win, and just when you needed them most, what happens? Sure, is it Aiden O'Connell's fault? No, the kid's a rookie, but it's typical Raider football. Just lose, baby. They find ways to lose games. It's what they do. Now, will Josh Jacobs have a good game? He should. He should, but who else is going to step up? Michael Mayer, why did you draft this guy? The guy's got 1 catch for a 2-point conversion in 4 games. That is absolutely disgusting. Josh McDaniels needs to be fired before I eat another meal. If they lose this game, I don't see how you retain this guy. The Raiders stink. They stink. And I think the Packers are better than the Pittsburgh-led team that came in here and annihilated the Raiders a couple weeks ago. And I think Jordan Love, guys like Romeo Doubs are X factors. They're going to be able to score. And I think they're going to win this game outright. I don't like the Raiders. I don't like what they're putting down. And honestly, if I'm a Raider fan, I want them to lose. What you're seeing happen with Houston and C.J. Stroud continues to prove to everyone what I have been saying for years and what the NFL has been proven. You cannot win without a franchise quarterback. Stop recycling these Alex Smiths, these Jimmy G's. Get your own quarterback. Look at Justin Herbert. Look at Josh Allen. Look at Lamar Jackson. These teams win. Look at Tua Tagovailoa. You have to have a franchise quarterback that you grab, that you draft, that you groom, that you grow. That is the face of your team. That is the guy. Jimmy D is not that guy, and so I cannot take the Raiders here. I love the Packers here to end the week 5. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts, and well, first of all, let me just say that, I've been on like social media a little bit more recently, specifically on Twitter, and you can get upset on social media every day just because people can say anything and it can rile you up, and that's kind of the whole point of social media, is that they're going to promote those kinds of things because you interact with it. I generally think that most of the Raiders fan base is just reactionist, just completely reactionist, because first of all, here's the thing. The best case scenario for like every situation going perfectly right for the Raiders doesn't mean anything. They're not winning the Super Bowl. They had Bilal Nichols starting at defensive tackle last week. That guy doesn't even play defensive tackle. So you have there's literally no defensive tackles. They're just guys. Like they're like practice squad guys. You have Luke Masterson starting at the linebacker position. But here's the thing, right? And this is where it drives me crazy. You're blind if you don't think the Raiders have improved from last year. I know the only thing that people really ultimately matter at the end of the day is wins and losses, but I've seen the defense get much better this year. They shut out the Chargers in the second half. That's something that you don't see. I'm seeing the Raiders get goal line stops. These are small things that people don't care about because of the wins and losses. These are the things that matter because this team is never going to win a Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. So the whole thing with Michael Mayer drives me crazy because name the last time a rookie tight end had a breakout year. It doesn't happen. People love Cole Kmet coming out of college. I did too. The guy had nothing going on in his rookie season.
Look at Sam Laporta. Look at Luke Musgrave. Those guys are having good.
Sam Laporta had like 2 catches last week.
Sam Laporta is a top 3 tight end in this league right now. Go look up the numbers, son. Look up the numbers. Don't lie, son.
Historically low year though. Come on.
Stop it.
2 catches for Sam Laporta makes him a top 3 tight end.
Go look at the numbers, Spencer. I'm going to pull up the numbers right now. You keep pontificating about this Raider ball club. You're delusional.
People talk about Tyree Wilson as if his career is already over. He had a lot of good plays last week. We're 5 games in. You didn't have training camp. Everybody freaks out thinking that you have to make an immediate impact as a rookie or else your career is over. Raiders fans are reactionists. I hate some of these content creators for the Raiders. I start blocking them. They're
Sam
just
Laporta,
so annoying.
22 catches, 242 yards.
That's really
2 touchdowns.
Breakout season.
Dude, how many catches does Michael Mayer have? 1.
I'm saying it does.
One. Okay, how many? What? 1.
I don't know, man. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't think tight ends really matter until year 2 and beyond. So it is what it is. I think they drafted this guy for the long term. Doesn't really matter what he does this year. I hope he gets a little bit more involved, but I'm not,
Your coach is the problem. Get him out of there. He's horrible.
I don't know. It is what it is. I don't want them to fire him this season. That's just the last thing that this team needs right now because no one's going to step up. Everyone says they want to fire the guy. Who comes in next? When has it ever been good to install a new, head coach? Because then it always puts you in a horrible position. Like, oh, do they keep him at the end of the season? They keep doing this over and over again.
Who's the guy who's the interim for the rest of the year? Go back and get Rich Bisaccia back in here.
No, that's just they
played so hard for him, man.
Oh, okay, playing hard for a guy, it means nothing in the NFL.
You were winning.
But how many people win Super Bowls because they play hard for a backup coach? Yeah. It doesn't happen. That's not how you run a football team, in my opinion.
I don't know. He got a raw deal.
I don't know what's going to happen. Josh McDaniels is going to stay this year, and they're going to keep him next year, too. I'm sorry, Raiders fans. That's just a matter of the fact. He coached a great game last week, by the way. When they were down and they had, instead of kicking the field goal, they pinned him. That was the best coaching decision that he's made. So that was really happy to see that. They pinned him. They got the 3 and out. They get the ball back, and they went down and scored the touchdown. That's good. You don't see that's good coaching. Okay, people don't want to accept it. The play at the 1-yard line, the kid threw the interception. The one thing that drives me crazy, there was this interview, and everyone was like, oh, he threw the kid under the bus by saying he had to protect the ball more. He did. If you're going to be an NFL starting quality quarterback, you can't turn the ball over 4 times. Period. How is it throwing him under the bus? That's the expectation. CJ Stroud has no interceptions this year, period. It doesn't matter if he's a rookie. Dude, if you're going to be a longtime starter, which is what they're looking for in O'Connell, he has to keep the ball. That's just protect the ball. Stupid. Oh, that's a fact. This kid's, this is terrible. He's just trying to save his job. No, he's not. He's trying to. This is the expectation for a good quarterback in the NFL. You can't fumble the ball all the time. You can't throw interception at the 1-yard line. This is just a fact. If my head coach was like, "Oh, the kid played a great game," I'd be pissed. Yeah, Raiders fans suck. Okay, a lot of them are terrible. A lot of them are. Some people are trying to say that, the John Gruden days, those were the golden days. No, they weren't. They were terrible then too. Raiders fans have no idea what they're talking about. But it is what it is, That's how the Raiders roll. That's just what they do. They get me mad. Raiders fans get me mad. Everything about the Raiders upsets me. But
I love it when Spencer goes in, you guys. It's the best. It is the absolute best, man. This is week 5 in the National Football League, guys. World of Matches, bringing the heat every Saturday morning for your ears. Enjoy the games. Who's your best bet this week?
My best bet? I'll take the Rams. I don't know. I don't know if it's not even – that's not a safe pick, but that's my pick.
Yeah, I like the Colts. I don't see the Titans having much for Jonathan Taylor and that Indy ball club. I think Anthony Rich is haywire. You guys enjoy the games. We'll see you next week. Week 6 is coming. Peace.